Hi children, Namaste. Welcome back to the class. Today in this video we are going to discuss about the movement of the Earth's crust. The movements of the Earth's crust. Before going to discuss about this topic, we should recall what we have learnt in the previous lesson. So let's recall what we have learnt in the previous lesson. Dear children, what we have discussed in the previous video? We have discussed that the earth is made up of three main layers: crust, mantle and core. Out of 100% of the earth's volume, the crust forms only 1% of the volume of the earth, 16% consists of the mantle and the 83% makes the core. Crust. We live on the outer part of the earth, which is called the crust. The thickness of the crust is 100 kilometers. The crust mostly consists of various kinds of rocks such as basalt rocks and granite rocks. Mantle. It existed at the depths from 100 kilometers to 2900 kilometers. The upper part of the mantle is a pliable layer over which the crust floats. The crust floats on the mantle. Core. Core is existed at the depths from 2900 kilometers to 6376 kilometers. It is composed of dense and heavy substances like iron and nickel. It can be divided into two sub-layers. The core is divided into two parts. They are outer core and inner core. Outer core. The thickness of the outer core is from 2900 kilometers to 5100 kilometers. The outer core is composed of liquid metallic material like nickel and iron. Inner core. The solid inner core thickness is 5100 kilometers to 6376 kilometers. The inner core is made up of iron compounds and heavy substances like gold. And we also discussed that the earth is still very active and the crust is also changing. The crust on which we live is still being changed by earthquakes, volcanoes, subduction of land and rise of mountains due to processes happening deep down inside the earth. Dear children, this is what we have discussed in the previous class. Today, in this video, we are going to discuss the movements of the earth's crust. Let us look into the topic, the movements of the earth's crust. We knew already our earth is a beautiful planet. On this earth, we can see the large land masses and large water bodies. The large land masses are called continents and the large water bodies are called oceans. And we also knew that there are 7 continents and 5 major oceans are there on this earth's surface. The 7 continents are Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe and Australia. We know Asia is the largest continent and Australia is the smallest continent. The 5 major oceans are Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Antarctic Ocean or the Southern Ocean and the Arctic Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean and the Arctic Ocean is the smallest ocean in the world. This is what we see on the surface of the earth. There are 7 continents and 5 major oceans on the earth's surface. And these oceans and continents are situated on the crust, the first layer of the earth. Dear children, we knew already the first layer of the earth is called the crust. And we also discussed that the crust is floating on the mantle. And we know the earth is moving around itself, it is called rotation, and revolving around the sun. Here we are talking about the crust movement, not the earth movement. We have already discussed the movement of the earth. In this lesson we are going to discuss the earth surface movement, the crust movement. Dear children, have you ever thought that the first layer of the earth, the crust, is constantly moving? Have you ever observed the movement of the earth's crust? I know your answer is no, sir. Isn't it, children? Yes. But actually it is not correct. When we observe the earth's surface, it may seem motionless most of the time, but it is actually always moving ever so slowly that it is too difficult for humans to perceive it, to experience it, to see it. And we cannot see the movement of the earth's crust with our eyes because the earth's crust is moving very, 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 very slowly. Children, again you got doubts. Why the crust is moving, sir? In previous video you have told that the crust is changing but not moving. How can we say the crust is moving? Why the crust is moving, sir? Which theory explains the movement of the earth's crust? Dear children, I will explain. The continental drift theory and the plate tectonics theory. Both theories explain about the movement of the earth's crust. In this video we are going to discuss about continental drift theory. What is continental drift? See children, here drift means the movement. Drift means the movement. Here the continental drift means the movement of the continents. The continental drift theory explains how and why the continents are moving from their places. What are the reasons? See children, this is the world map you know very well. We use in our school atlas, in our social studies textbook, and most of the scientists, geologists, map makers, everyone use this world map. And what we see in this world map? Yes children, continents and oceans. The moment ago we discussed already, there are 7 continents and 5 oceans. This is the same map which we have been studying since our childhood. Isn't it children? Yes. When we observed the map or the globe, what we think generally? We think the shapes and the positions of the continents may seem fixed at their places, and there were no changes in the continents and oceans. And we also think that the continents have never changed from their places and will never be moved in the future. But it is not correct. Why? Because during the course of Earth's eventful history, the continents have moved, collided, merged, and then been torn apart again. Means they have separated. I am repeating once again, the continents have moved, collided, merged, and they have been separated. Not only continents, but also mountains and oceans. Mountains have risen and been razed to the ground. Oceans have formed and dried up, valleys have been carved, and so on during the course of Earth's eventful history. All these details are explained by a theory called continental drift theory. So, the continental drift theory explains how the continents and oceans are arranged on this Earth's surface. Who proposed this continental drift theory? Who was that person? See, children, this was the man who proposed the continental drift theory. Do you know his name? Yes, children, he is Alfred Wegener or Alfred Wegener. He is a German meteorologist and a geophysicist. In the early 20th century, that means in 1912, he introduced the continental drift theory. He introduced the continental drift theory to describe and partially explain the present arrangement of continents and ocean basins. Dear children, how did he know that continents are moving? To explain continental drift theory, Alfred Wegener used four evidences. They are the jigsaw map, landforms, fossils, and climate. If we look at the map of the world, it appears that the eastern edge of the South America and the western edge of the Africa could fit together like interlocking puzzle pieces. Scientists have long noticed the similarity between the two coastlines. Not only South America and Africa were fit together with each other, but also North America, Greenland, Europe, and North Africa could fit with each other. Alfred Wegener also noticed this while he was studying the world map. But it was not until the 20th century that evidence could support a theory that the coastlines, that continents were once connected. The second evidence for the continental drift was the mountains. The similarities between the Appalachian Mountains in North America and the eastern Greenland Mountains in Greenland and the Scandinavian Mountains in the Europe are second evidence for the continental drift hypothesis. Alfred Wegener found the same types of rocks in these three regions, which are situated far from each other. Wegener used fossil evidence to support his continental drift theory. The fossils of these organisms are found on lands that are now far apart. He found some same fossils which were lived at that time in South America, Africa, India, Antarctica, and Australia. For example, Mesosaurus. Mesosaurus is a fossil found in both South America and Africa. It was a freshwater animal, freshwater reptile. It lived only in fresh water. We knew already there is an Atlantic Ocean between South America and Africa. If there were no connection between these two lands, how this reptile crossed this Atlantic Ocean? So not possible. By this, what we have understood, once upon a time, all these continents were connected with one another. The fourth evidence was the climate. Wegener, as being a meteorologist, studied the climate of all the continents and found some areas with the same climate situation where they were in separate continents. So this was the fourth evidence. So by this all evidences, Alfred Wegener propounded the continental drift theory. What is continental drift according to Alfred Wegener? Continental rift is the hypothetical theory. It explains how the Earth's continents have moved over geological time. Wegener said that the continents move around on Earth's surface and that they were once joined together as a single supercontinent. Alfred Wegener called this massive supercontinent as Pangaea or Pangaea. This Pangaea was existed on this earth over 220 million years ago. The word Pangaea or Pangaea is a Greek word. Here the word pan means all or whole or entire. Gaia means land or the earth. Pangaea means the whole land or the whole earth. And around this Pangaea, the whole earth was surrounded by a huge water body which is called Panthalassa. Panthalassa was the huge water body around this Pangaea. Again here, pan means all or entire. Thalassa means ocean or water. Panthalassa means entire ocean or all water around Pangaea. So what do we understand? Over 220 million years ago, there was a super ocean and there was a supercontinent. The super ocean is called the Panthalassa and the supercontinent is called the Pangaea or Pangaea. About 200 million years ago, Pangaea broke into two new continents. They were Laurentia and Gondwana. Laurentia is also called Angara. The northernmost part of the continent is called Laurentia or Angara and the southern part is called Gondwana. These two blocks, Laurentia and Gondwana lands were moving due to some internal disturbances like high temperature, high pressure and convectional currents inside the earth. Because of this, the Laurentia and Gondwana are moving from their places. When the Laurentia land and the Gondwana land moved away from their places, a shallow sea was formed between these two and it was called Tethys Sea. Due to internal disturbances like high pressure, high temperature, convectional currents, the crust was still moving. About 130 million years ago, Laurentia was still moving, and as it moved, it broke up into the continents of North America, Europe and Asia, Eurasia. The Gondwana land also continued to spread apart and it broke up into the continents of Africa, Antarctica, Australia, South America and the subcontinent of India. Arabia started to separate from Africa as the Red Sea opened up. So, the Laurentia or the Angara land consists present North America, Greenland and all of Eurasia north of Indian subcontinent. I am repeating once again, the Laurentian part consists of present North America, Greenland and all parts of Eurasia and also North Indian subcontinent. The southern part, the Gondwana land consists of present South America, Africa, Madagascar, South India, Arabia, Malaysia, East Indies, Australia and Antarctica. I am repeating once again, the Gondwana land consists of present South America, Africa, Madagascar, India, Arabia, Malaysia, East Indies, Australia and Antarctica. Still, the earth was very active due to some internal changes The Gondwana land was divided into different parts as we discussed already: South America, Africa, India, Antarctica, Australia, Madagascar, and so on. And they were started moving from their places. But the Eurasian plate did not split into pieces. It was united, it was together. So the Eurasian plate is a single plate. It was not splitted into parts. It was a single plate. The continents started moving from their places in different directions. For example, North America moved west direction and South America moved northwest direction, and Antarctica moved south and Australia moved east, and our country India too moved northeastern direction. And the Eurasian plate moved in circular shape. The earth is still very active. Because of this activeness, all the plates were started moving from their places. And all the plates were moving very slowly. The two continents are moving away from each other at the rate of about 2.5 centimeters. That means 1 inch per year. So the continents are moving away from their places at the rate of 2.5 centimeters per 1 year. But our Indian plate moved very faster than the other continents. We knew already our Indian plate, one of the part and parcel of the Gondwana land, and it is very close to the Australian plate. And our Indian plate was divided from the Australian plate and it was moved towards the northeast direction. If we observe the world map very clearly, we may understand the Australian north coastline will fit with the Indian coastline. When Indian subcontinent divided from the Australian plate, it had been moving towards the equator. And it was crossed the equator and it was hit the Tethys Sea and the Eurasian plate. So the Indian plate collided with the Tethys Sea and the Eurasian plate with a great force. When the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate and the Tethys Sea, the water in the Tethys Sea flown away. The sediments which are presented in the Tethys Sea and the hot lava which is erupting from the Eurasian plate raised, accumulated one by one and folded and formed into the Himalayan mountains. To reach its present position, the Indian subcontinent moved hundreds of miles in 135 million years at a great speed. What is that speed? Just 4 inches per year. The Indian subcontinent moved 4 inches per year. At the same time, the other continents were moved at the speed of 1 inch per year, but the Indian subcontinent was moved 4 inches per year. The Indian subcontinent is still moving, but not at that speed. At present, the Indian plate is moving at the rate of about 2 to 3 centimeters per year. That means 1 inch per year. Dear children, it is still moving and colliding with the Russian plate, that means Eurasian plate. Still, the Indian subcontinent is colliding with the Eurasian plate. By this, we can say the earth is still very active and the crust is moving and colliding and moving away from each other, and still many changes are taking place on this earth's crust. It took millions of years for the continents to reach the present shapes and the positions on the globe. Even today, many of the continents are moving very slowly, pushing each other. We can't see with our eyes that the changes were happening inside the earth and the outside the earth. This is about the continental drift theory.